All right. Welcome in, everyone, to this deep dive. We're going to get into some really fascinating stuff today about marketing budgets. And this is especially relevant, given how the economy's been looking lately.
Yeah,
A lot of uncertainty out there.
absolutely.
We got a really thought-provoking article sent in by a listener from Now Technology Systems.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
based in Australia.
Oh,
A
cool.
lot of work with, websites, e-commerce, digital marketing, the whole nine yards.
I see.
And their article, it makes this pretty bold argument about how important it is to actually stick to your marketing plan, even when things get a little,
Tight.
tight, exactly.
Mm.
Which, kind of goes against what a lot of us would probably think to do.
Right, right. The instinct is to, batten down the hatches and cut costs wherever you can.
Yeah.
But they're saying that could actually backfire on you in the long run.
Exactly. And that's what we're gonna dig into today.
I'm intrigued.
So right off the bat, this article, it talks about how we need to kind of shift our thinking, right? It's not just about spending money on marketing. It's about
Invest?
investing, exactly. Investing in your brand, investing in your relationships with customers, and ultimately investing in future growth.
It's like that saying, you got to spend money to make money. But it's more than just spending. It's about strategic allocation of resources.
Yes.
Yeah.
And thinking long term,
Yeah.
right? Not just about immediate gains.
Absolutely. Building a strong foundation that can weather any storm.
And that's especially true in times of, economic uncertainty.
Right. When consumers are being more cautious with their spending, trust and loyalty become even more valuable.
Interesting. It's almost like when everyone else is pulling back, that's your opportunity to stand out.
Precisely. It's a chance to build even stronger relationships with your customers.
Because they see you as a reliable presence, someone who's still there for them.
Exactly. It's about consistency and commitment, showing your customers that you're in it for the long haul.
And speaking of consistency, the article also delves into this idea of data being super important for your marketing strategy.
Oh, absolutely. Data is it's like having a roadmap. It can tell you where you're going, where you've been, and how to get to your destination.
And in marketing, that destination is what?
Reaching your target audience effectively.
There you go.
Every dollar you spend on marketing can actually provide valuable information.
So it's not just throwing money out there randomly and hoping for the best.
No, not at all. It's about using data to make informed decisions about where to allocate your resources and how to optimize your campaigns for maximum impact.
It's starting to see how this all ties together.
Yeah.
So how does data actually help me make those decisions?
Well, think about it this way. Let's say you launch a new ad campaign.
Oh?
You can track metrics like website traffic, clicks, conversions. You can even see how long people are spending on your website, what pages they're visiting.
Oh, wow.
And all of that data can tell you what's resonating with your audience, what needs tweaking, and where you might need to make some adjustments.
So if I see that people are bouncing off my landing page really quickly, that's a sign that something's not working, right?
Exactly. It's a signal to investigate. Maybe the messaging isn't clear, maybe the design isn't appealing, or maybe the offer just isn't compelling enough.
So data gives you that feedback so you can keep refining and improving your strategy.
Precisely. It's a continuous process of optimization.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And, the article, it specifically talks about digital marketing as being a really powerful tool, especially for small businesses.
Yeah, the digital landscape, it's really leveled the playing field. Now, even small businesses can reach a global audience with platforms like social media, email marketing, and search engines. And the beauty of digital marketing is that it's incredibly cost-effective.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You can get very specific with your targeting, which means you're not wasting money on reaching people who aren't interested in your product or service.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's about maximizing your return on investment.
So give me an example. How could a small business, let's say a local bakery, how could they use digital marketing to their advantage?
Well, a bakery could use Instagram to showcase their delicious pastries with mouth-watering photos and videos.
Oh, yeah. I love those.
Right. They could run targeted ads to reach people in their local area who are interested in baked goods. They could even use features like Instagram stories to give people a behind-the-scenes look at their baking process.
So it's not just about selling, it's about connecting with people, building that relationship.
Exactly. It's about creating a community around your brand.
That's really smart. But, the article also warns against what can happen if you cut back on marketing too much, even when times are tough.
Oh, absolutely.
What are some of the potential downsides they mentioned?
Well, one of the biggest risks is losing visibility. If you're not out there consistently engaging with your customers, they might start to forget about you.
Hmm.
And that can give your competitors an edge.
It's like out of sight, out of mind, right?
Exactly. And during a downturn, when consumer confidence might already be low, it's even more important to stay top of mind.
Because people are looking for stability, for brands they can trust.
That's right. And if you disappear from the radar, they might start to question your reliability or even your viability as a business.
I hadn't thought about it that way before. So maintaining that consistent presence is about more than just sales. It's about reassuring your customers that you're still there for them.
Precisely. It's about building trust and loyalty.
But, the article doesn't just talk about the downsides of cutting back. It actually argues that downturns can be opportunities for businesses that are willing to adapt.
Oh, absolutely. It's a chance to gain ground while others are pulling back.
How so?
Well, for one thing, competition might be weaker. Some businesses might be cutting back on their marketing, which means there's less noise out there and it's easier for your message to get through. And advertising costs might actually be lower during a downturn.
Oh, I see.
So you can potentially get more bang for your buck.
So instead of seeing a downturn as a time to retreat, it's a time to be strategic and seize the moment.
Precisely. It's about being proactive and adaptable.
So what does that look like in practice? What are some ways that businesses can adapt their marketing strategies during a downturn?
Well, one key area is focusing on the channels and tactics that are delivering the highest return on investment.
So if I'm a business owner, I should be looking at my website analytics, my social media engagement, my email open rates, and really trying to figure out what's actually working.
Exactly. And then double down on those successful channels while potentially pulling back on others that aren't performing as well.
It's about being data-driven and making those tough choices about where to allocate your resources.
Precisely. And another crucial aspect of adaptation is ensuring that your messaging aligns with the current climate.
So how would that messaging change during a downturn?
Well, consumers might be more price sensitive, so highlighting your value proposition and demonstrating how your product or service can help them save money or solve a specific problem becomes even more important.
So it's not just about saying, hey, buy our stuff. It's about showing empathy and understanding that people might be facing financial challenges.
Exactly. It's about providing solutions and being a helpful resource for your customers.
That makes sense. And it seems like authenticity and transparency are even more important during times like these.
Absolutely. Consumers can spot a phony a mile away. They want to see that you're being genuine and that you genuinely care about their needs.
And I think that goes back to the whole idea of building relationships, right? It's not just about transactions. It's about connecting with people on a human level.
Exactly. And that's something that data alone can't achieve. It takes empathy, creativity, and a genuine desire to help.
Speaking of help, this whole deep dive was inspired by an article from Now Technology Systems, that Australian company we mentioned earlier.
Right.
And they seem to really understand this whole idea of marketing as an investment, of using data strategically, and of adapting to changing circumstances.
Yeah, and for listeners who might be feeling a little overwhelmed by all of this, especially during a downturn, partnering with experts like Now Technology Systems could be a really valuable option.
What specifically stood out to you about their approach?
Well, their emphasis on data-driven strategies really resonated with me. They seem to understand that data isn't just about numbers, it's about insights that can drive real business results.
And their focus on cost effectiveness is definitely appealing, especially in a challenging economic environment.
Absolutely. They seem to understand the need to maximize return on investment and ensure that every marketing dollar is working hard.
And for Australian businesses, their compliance with local standards and regulations is a big plus.
Right. It gives you peace of mind knowing that your marketing efforts are aligned with the legal and ethical requirements of the Australian market.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about reframing marketing as an investment, the power of data, the importance of adaptation, and even finding the right partners to help you along the way. What are some of the key takeaways you hope listeners will, walk away with from this conversation?
Well, the first and foremost takeaway is to avoid knee-jerk reactions. Just because the economy takes a dip doesn't mean you should automatically slash your marketing budget. In fact, it might be the most crucial time to maintain or even increase your efforts.
Right, it's about that long-term vision, that investment mindset.
Exactly. And it's not just about maintaining the budget, it's about being strategic and adaptable. leveraging data to understand your customers and the market, refining your messaging, and focusing on the channels that are delivering the highest return on investment are all crucial elements of navigating a downturn successfully.
So for our listeners out there, if you were to take a hard look at your own business's marketing, what's one thing you would do differently starting today based on what we've discussed?
That's a great question. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. I would encourage everyone to take a step back and really analyze their current marketing efforts. Are you truly leveraging data to make informed decisions? Is your messaging resonating with your target audience? Are you focusing on the channels that are delivering the highest return on investment? Even making a small change in one of these areas can have a significant impact.
And if you're in Australia and feeling a bit overwhelmed by all of this, maybe now technology systems could be a good resource to look into.
I agree. They seem to have a strong understanding of the digital landscape and a data-driven approach that could be really beneficial.
All right, folks, that's a wrap on part 1 of our deep dive into marketing budgets during economic downturns. We'll be back soon to continue the conversation.
Looking forward to it.
Until then, stay curious, stay adaptable, and keep on learning.
And keep marketing. Sometimes I think with all this talk about data and strategy, we forget that marketing, it's really about people.
Yeah, for sure.
At the end of the day, it's about connecting with real people, understanding their needs, and building those relationships.
Absolutely. Like data can give you insights, for sure, but it's that human touch that really resonates with customers.
It's those well-crafted stories, those genuine interactions, maybe even, a moment of shared humor.
Right.
Those are the things that really build lasting connections.
That's so true. And I think sometimes, you see businesses get so caught up in like the automation and the analytics that they forget about that personal touch.
It's easy to do.
It really is.
Especially in today's digital world, but that human connection, it's always going to be valuable.
This makes me think of this this local bookstore I love.
Okay.
They do such a great job of creating a community.
Oh, how so?
They have like author events, book clubs, and they even have like a resident cat.
Oh, that's cute.
That just like walks around the store.
I love that.
And greets customers.
Oh, that's amazing. They've gone beyond just selling books.
They really have.
They've created an experience.
Yeah, it's an experience. And it makes you want to support them, not just because they have good books, but because you feel a connection.
Absolutely. And you feel like you're part of something.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's something that, big online retailers often struggle to replicate.
That's a really good point. And it brings us back to, the article we've been discussing from Now Technology Systems.
Right.
They're all about, websites, e-commerce, digital marketing.
Yeah. But even they, in their article, they really emphasize this idea of partnership, of being invested in their clients' growth, not just, providing a service.
I noticed that too.
It's about building those long-term relationships based on trust and mutual success.
And that's something that I think any business, no matter how big or small, can benefit from.
Absolutely.
Finding partners who are truly invested in your success.
It can make all the difference.
It really can. So if I'm a business owner, what are some things I should be looking for in a potential marketing partner?
Well, first and foremost, you want someone who gets you. Someone who understands your business, understands your target audience, and can really dig deep to understand your unique challenges and goals.
It's not just about slapping on a template.
No. It's about tailoring their approach to your specific needs.
Okay, so understanding is important. What else?
You also want someone who is data-driven and results-oriented.
Okay.
They should be able to track and measure their efforts and demonstrate a clear return on investment.
So you can see that what they're doing is actually working.
Exactly. And communication, that's huge.
Yeah.
You want a partner who is responsive, transparent, and keeps you in the loop every step of the way.
So you're not left in the dark, wondering what's going on.
Exactly. And of course, you want someone who operates with integrity. Someone you can trust to represent your brand in a positive and responsible way.
Ethics are important for sure.
It's about finding a partner who shares your values.
Finding the right marketing partner. It sounds kind of like dating almost.
In a way it is.
You're entering into a relationship. It requires communication, trust, shared vision.
It really does. And just like dating, sometimes you gotta, kiss a few frogs before you find your prince.
There you go.
But when you do find the right partner, it can be an amazing experience.
Totally. So we've talked about, the strategic side of marketing, the data, the adaptation. But we've also touched on this really important element of human connection.
And that's something I think businesses should never lose sight of.
I agree. So as we kind of wrap up this part of our deep dive, what's one big takeaway you'd like to leave our listeners with?
I would say don't let economic uncertainty paralyze you. It can be a scary time for sure, but it can also be a time for growth and innovation.
I like that. It's about embracing the challenge.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to go it alone. Seeking out expert guidance, building those strong partnerships that can help you navigate these choppy waters and come out stronger on the other side.
That's great advice. So for our listeners, stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive. We'll be right back. All right, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive on marketing budgets when, the economy is not exactly a smooth ride. We've talked about so much already. I mean, from thinking of marketing spend like an investment to actually using data in a smart way to finding the right partners to really get you where you want to go.
And let's not forget that human element.
Yeah.
It's easy to get lost in all the technical stuff.
It is.
And forget that we're really trying to connect with, actual people.
Absolutely. Building genuine relationships. That's at the core of it all.
It really is.
It makes me think, though, all this talk about uncertainty in the economy, it can make people kind of anxious, right?
Well, yeah, for sure.
Especially if you're running a business.
Absolutely. It's natural to feel that way.
Yeah.
But, challenges can also be like a breeding ground for innovation. Think about it. Some of the most successful companies out there, they were actually founded during recessions.
Oh, wow. Okay.
When things get tough, you're kind of forced to think differently, to get creative, find new solutions.
Yeah.
It pushes you outside that comfort zone.
That's a good point. So it's not all doom and gloom.
No, not at all.
It can actually be an opportunity to really shine.
Exactly. And it forces you to focus on what really matters, which is providing that exceptional value to your customers.
Right.
When things are tight, you can't afford to waste time or money on things that aren't working.
So you got to be really strategic.
Exactly. Laser focus.
I'll tell you, this whole conversation, it's really changed how I think about marketing.
Oh, how so?
I used to think it was you do more of it when times are good, and you cut back when things get rough. But now I see it as more of a constant thing. It's always evolving, and it's important no matter what the economy is doing.
It's not about following a rigid set of rules.
Okay.
It's about being adaptable, using that data wisely, and always, always putting your customers first.
All right. So we're wrapping up our deep dive here. What's one final piece of advice you would give our listener, someone out there who's trying to figure all this out amidst the uncertainty?
Don't be afraid to experiment.
Okay.
Try new things, test different approaches, and see what really connects with your audience.
Okay, so be willing to kind of try stuff out, see what sticks.
Exactly. What works for one business might not work for another, so it's about finding your own unique path.
It's about that continuous learning, right? Always be open to new ideas.
Absolutely. The world of marketing, it never stands still, so you got to keep learning and growing.
So true. Well, folks, that's it for our deep dive on navigating marketing budgets during, let's just say, interesting economic times. We hope you got some valuable insights, things you can actually take and use in your own business.
Yeah, even small changes can make a big difference.
They really can. And remember, don't underestimate the power of consistency, using your data, and that human touch, that real connection with your customers.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
We encourage you to keep exploring, keep experimenting, and keep those marketing wheels turning. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, happy marketing.